Awesome. We are live. Hey, and how are you doing? This is DJ Sobanjo here, and I'm really excited to have you here tonight, and I'm excited to be here with you as well. And tonight I'm going to be sharing with you how to design a high-ticket program that changes lives and pays you well. There's a lot that's been going on these days around high-ticket solutions, and pretty much, people have defined it in so many different ways that sometimes we can get a little confused. What is a high-ticket solution? And a high-ticket solution really differs from market to market. But the way I like to define it to make it really simple and easy to understand, especially with those of us who work in our space as coaches, speakers, trainers, writers, and consultants, is just, anything that's £1,000 plus. So £1,000 is, I'd see that as a high ticket solution. 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever. I do understand that in some industries, 1K is low ticket, but I know that for the majority of people who work in our spaces, coaches, speakers, trainers, authors, and consultants, we're looking at about £1,000 or $1,000 and above, however far we go with that. So that is how I'm defining a high ticket solution. And one of the reasons why I'm paying a lot of attention to this these days is because the market has evolved considerably over the last few years. And hey, Oluchi, how are you doing? Good to have you here. Thanks for that. And hey, guys, as you come in, please just say hello. I'd like to welcome you. I'd like to acknowledge you. So thanks for that. Also, guys, please go ahead and click the share button. So share this so we can have more people show up and be a part of the live session. Great. So as I was saying, right, hey, good to have you. Good to have you. As I was saying, there's this thing around, why, I've had some people say, oh, what's all this hula-baloo about high tickets and things like that? Why, and people, it's because people don't understand. Right? So I'm not one of these people who says, oh, neglect other people. You just want to cater to people. You want to cater to the rich. And that's not really what it is. It's really about you being able to do well in business, especially for the majority of us who do our businesses part-time. I know there are some of you who are already building your businesses full-time, and that's cool, but I do know that the majority of members of the Profit from Coaching community, I know that the majority of you actually build your businesses part-time. And if you build your business part-time, you want to make sure that with every effort and every second and every penny you put into your business, you get maximum return. Right? And my observation over the years, hey, Sammy, good to have you, brilliant. My observation over the years has been that we've evolved from a place where you could really come into the marketplace and do very well with low ticket solutions, with a 40-pound ebook, or a 67-pound audio program back in the day. You would struggle. You would struggle to make money with that sort of thing now. And then we got to the place where it was really middle ticket solutions. And, and I was, again, I was a part of that revolution where you could make a lot of money very quickly and make a very good full-time income off of a 200-pound or a 300-pound online course or a 500-pound online course, something like that. But the market's kind of evolved again. Why? Because it really is, there's a lot of people who came into the market, and that's one of the primary reasons. The market was flooded, and it became more expensive. You see, that's the thing. It became very expensive to market middle ticket solutions, especially for those who are getting started. Now, for those who've been in the game for a while, who've built a following and already have an audience, that's fine. You can just create a middle ticket solution and promote it to your community. If you have, 10,000 people or 20,000 people on your list, and you create an online course or something for £200, you send an e-blast to your subscribers. You've got 20,000 subscribers, and 2,000 of them buy. That's not bad. But for a lot of people who don't have that, you don't have the luxury of having a big community just yet. The question then is, how can I afford to break in and start to make good money as quickly as possible? My advice is high ticket solutions. And that's this is not theory. This is based on my observations as the market has begun to evolve, and this is where we are at the moment, right? And I've observed this over the last couple of years. So that's one of the reasons why tonight I'm going to show you how you, and it doesn't matter where, how you can design a high ticket solution that will help you break through into the marketplace. You need one. The reality is, in this day and age, and this is a very strong statement, yes, something I see that one struggles with the low tickets because of, yes, you do, right? In this day and age, if you really want to break into the marketplace profitably, I really encourage you that you need to, one, craft a high ticket solution, what I like to call a transformational program. And at the same time, you also want to have a system to be able to get buyers. Okay. So tonight we're going to be focusing on the design, and then, and I'll just share with you, because a lot of people think, what do I offer? What do I package? How can I put something together that's 3,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or even £1,000? A lot of people really struggle with this. And hopefully by the time we're through tonight, right, by the time we're through, you would have a sense of what you need to do, right, to design your own high ticket solution. Okay. All right, great. So let's get into this. Now, the first thing you want to do is really important, is you need to identify and define, identify the transformation that you're going to bring to the market, right? But you see, transformation is a word that's been going around a lot these days, and I use it as well. Why? Because the reality is, for high ticket solutions, they usually transformational programs. So low ticket solutions, I call them information programs. Middle ticket solutions are implementation programs, and high ticket solutions, I call them transformational programs, in that the purpose of a high ticket solution is to bring a transformation. However, we've got to be very careful that you don't start, and because this happens a lot, right? Don't take the language of the industry to the marketplace, right? So we talk transformation here, but when you're talking with your audience, don't think, because they're not looking for transformation. I'm going to say that again. Your market is not looking for transformation. What they're looking for is an outcome. They're looking for a result. Okay, so they don't say, you know what, I'm looking for a transformation. No, I want this result. That's what they say. So people don't buy transformation, they buy outcomes. And this is really big. This is a big thing. I know that your program is meant to transform them, to bring to bring a change. But people don't buy change, they buy outcomes. People don't buy the process, they buy the results. It's the process that's the process of transformation. But what people want is the end result. Now, and this is really important, because if you start thinking a lot transformation, which you're going to implement, then your package is going to be all wrong, because you will design a package that's focused on the journey. But instead, your package, what you should package, should focus on the outcome. So, for example, if there's a person who maybe is working in frontline, maybe they're a supervisor, and their dream, their aspiration is to become a head of department, for example. Their supervisor, and their aspiration is within 12 months or however long, they want to become a head of department. That's a big aspiration, but people have those dreams, okay? So that's their aspiration. Now, if you want to sell them a program, the program would not be, hey, this is a program that will help you to begin to transform from a less confident to a more confident person who stands out and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, which is cool, right? But actually, what this program does is, this program helps you to move from becoming what you are now to what you want to be. Right? So if you want to become a middle manager in the organization where you work, right, then this program is definitely for you. If you want to move your salary, another 10K or another 15K, whatever the salary difference is between a supervisor and a head of department. So if you want to experience that 10K jump in salary by accelerating your career, then this program is for you. Can you see that? So it's outcomes. So you want to think, it's almost like you've got to sell the program before you create it, right? Think about how you're going to sell the program before you actually design the program. I'm going to say that again. Think about how you're going to sell the program before you design it. And you don't sell a transformation, you sell an outcome, right? move from supervisory level to middle management level in 18 months or less and grow your income, grow your salary by 10K to 20K. I don't know, right? I've been away from paid employment for a short while. I'm not sure what the salaries are like, but you get the whole idea. So a person who is looking for that is how we sell it. That is how we pitch it. That is how we position it. It's the outcome, not the transformation. And I just felt to pitch that in because, the whole transformation thing's been going for a while. I want to make sure that we don't get caught up with that. So the outcome, now key thing is this, right? Before you even design it, this is really important, right? Because you've got to think of your audience. You must think of the person who is going to enroll in this program, who is going to buy your high-ticket solution. And you've got to be thinking about them and their outcomes and what they want. And then you go and design the program and not the other way around, okay? Good. So key thing is this, the outcome for them, for the people who are going to buy it, they must believe it's worth a lot more than the cost of the program, right? So a classic one is if someone's maybe in a 35K a year role and their goal is to move into a role that's 50K a year, right, for example, and you can help them. Now you have a program. There's a lot that goes into the program, and that's cool because you've got a system of helping them get visibility at work, helping them extend their network, helping them to craft CVs that get noticed and stand out, helping them to be brilliant at interviews and assessments, helping them to be able to connect in their industry and all the other things that you've packaged into this program that you're going to design. And you have the skills and the expertise to help them get that result. So you do have the skills, you do have the expertise to help them get the results. However, leave all that aside and think about what they want, their outcomes. They want to move from supervisor to middle manager. Then think about it, which is how important is this to them? How much of a big deal is it? Right? What would they lose if they don't achieve this? How valuable is this? How can you translate this in pounds and pennies? I mean, with moving from supervisor to middle manager is kind of easy, even if it's a £10,000, even if it's a £5,000 a year jump. Even if it's a £5,000 a year jump, it simply means that now their salary goes up by 5K a year. So if you're selling a 5K program, a £5,000 program that will help them travel that journey, well, they spend the 5K one time, they get a 5K pay rise, it's paid for that, but now they're getting that extra 5K every year. But not only that, they're doing that job that they dreamed of, that they have that job title that they aspire to, the sense of self-worth that comes from that, the sense of achievement and progress that comes from that, plus the money. And so you can see here how you've got to look at the value and the perceived value. You've got to think about how you're going to sell it before you even design it. That's what I'm looking to say here. Hope this makes sense, folks. Let me know if this makes sense for you as I move on. Right, but that's the very, very first thing we need to do is you've got to identify the transformation that you're going to be bringing, but you've got to look at it from a result. Right, so don't worry about the journey now. Yes, you will design the journey, right? So once you've determined the result, that's when you then go ahead and you look at the journey they need to travel. So what needs to happen for that individual, the growth, the change, the development that needs to happen for them to get from where they are to where they want to be. For example, let's still stick to this middle management scenario, okay? Because we're here, let's just stay here, right? So what change needs to happen? Hey, thanks guys, really appreciate. Yes, somebody says makes sense, Peter. Hey, doctor, good to have you on. Brilliant. Right, so now what we do, right, is so let's talk about the doctor, right, is all right, what needs to happen for him? So one, I would say one, still thinking of the doctor here, and I'm sorry, not the doctor, it's thinking of this person who's looking to move to middle management. One is they need to be more visible. How do they expand their visibility so people know them and what they have? So we'll be looking at, getting visible. Okay, so they've got to have a plan to get visible and the skills to be able to sell themselves. They've also got to build a strong network. right? So they've got to build a strong network of potential helpers. And so you've got to show them how to do that, and they've got to start to do that. Also, they've got to basically have a brilliant CV that stands out and gets noticed and opens doors. We've got to look at that. They've also got to have the ability to sell themselves at job interviews and things like that. They've also got to have the ability to be able to sell themselves at general events where they show up and they meet people. Right? And then they've got to identify the route, the paths that will help them enjoy accelerated progress. And these are just some of the things because I work and I've done things in that space, I kind of have an idea. So that's why I'm using that example, right? And so now you kind of know what they need to have, what needs to be in place, the change and the transformation that needs to happen for them. This is where we now look at the next thing, which is the different approaches. Because now we're looking at delivering this transformation. We're still looking at designing the program. Now, I've identified 10 different methods of delivering a transformation. I'm just going to take us through all 10 of these very, very quickly. Right, these are 10 different methods of helping deliver a transformation for the people that you'll be working with. Number one is done for you, which is basically you do it for them. Right, a classic one is a person who builds a website for you. That's a done for you service. You just tell them what you want, and you don't need to show up, and they just build it and they hand it to you, and you pay for it. So done for you services. Another thing might be, I want to launch my new product. Can you help me manage the product launch? Help me manage the launch of my business. And they manage it for you because, it's not your area of expertise and you don't have the time. You're busy, you're at work. And so you say, hey, help me manage the launch of my business. And you just tell me what I need to do, but you manage it. You take care of everything. And so that's a done for you service. And and a lot of clients are looking for done for you service because they don't have the time. They don't have the energy. They're busy. And they just want to play to their strengths, and they'd rather spend the money to have you do it for them, right? So one thing you can do is helping people experience transformation is done for you services, right? Then there's also what we call done with you services. Now, done with you services is where you get together with them live. And the goal here is that they will implement with you. You're there with them to implement. A good example of where I've done that is the Profit Pulling Pipeline Bootcamp, where we help coaches and profit from coaching build their own coaching client acquisition funnels. And what I would usually do is I'll get together in a room with 6 coaches for 3 days. We get together for 3 days. It's a boot camp, right? Everybody has their own computers. And by the time we leave after 3 days, everybody has their own coaching client acquisition funnels built. Now, that's a done with you program. Now, if they were going to, the good thing about the done with you is they're doing it, but they're not on their own. You are there with them, providing the support, providing the guidance, and being there, pretty much working with them to do it. So there's done for you, there's done with you, right? Then there's do it yourself. Right, there's do-it-yourself programs. Now, do-it-yourself programs, classic example of that is an online course, right? So with an online course, you create an online course with the instructions, step-by-step instructions of what to do. So, for example, let's still stick to what I talked about earlier on, which is maybe the product launch, right? So there's a course, right? I think a very good one is the product launch formula. By Jeff Walker, right? Jeff Walker's product launch formula is an example of a do-it-yourself program, right? Where there's great content, it's an online course. You go through it, and you can work through that program, pretty much implementing it by yourself, right? So that's another way you can deliver the transformation is do-it-yourself programs. That's number 3. Number 4 is consulting. Right, is consulting. And this is basically your brain in their business. I like to define consulting as you're borrowing my brain, you're borrowing my expertise, you're borrowing my knowledge, and you're using it in your business. And so basically, it's another word for consult is advice. Right? You're an advisor, you're an expert advisor who shows up. And so people come to you and they say, hey, they're stuck, they need help. They reach out, and your job there is to give them pretty much tell them what to do, right? You tell them what to do, you give them the advice that they need. And so you're there as an advisor, you're there as a consultant. So when they're stuck, they reach out to you. I'm really stuck here, not sure what to do here. I'm doing this. How do I do it? You give them advice. They go out and they go and continue doing it. So that's another way you can help them experience that transformation. I guess that's 4, right? Okay, so 1 is done for you, 2 is done with you, 3 is do it yourself, 4 is consultations, 5 is learning programs. Learning programs, I mean live learning programs. They could be live online or they could be live on location, like in a training room, right? So this is where, trainings, workshops, where people come to learn, right? So people come to learn. So for example, if I'm still using the career example that I was using earlier on, I could deliver a training, right, on how to connect and sell yourself, or how to stand out, visibility training. So I'm going to be delivering a live visibility training and positioning training, where I'm going to be training you on how to stand out and get noticed at work, how to stand out and get noticed at meetings, how to get noticed by the key influencers in your organization. And we could do some training, some live training in the room, workshops, practice, and all of that in the room. And so that, again, is something that you can use to deliver the transformation. So learning programs, that's number 5. Learning programs is another thing you can put into the mix towards delivering the transformation. Number 6 is masterminds. Right? Masterminds is brilliant. Masterminds basically is you facilitate minds. You just bring minds together, right? And the whole idea with masterminds, if you're bringing together a mastermind, is you bring people together, and what happens is the whole thing about iron sharpening iron, and it's all about the synergy of everybody supporting and helping everybody else, right? So I'm stuck here looking for advice. We all advise one another, and then your advice builds on that person's advice, and all of a sudden I get a lot more value than if I had tried to implement this by myself. Okay, so that's number one. What number? What is that? Just checking. What's that number? Masterminds is number. Okay, I'm really just checking to see if you guys are following me, right? Masterminds is number 6. Masterminds is number 6. Okay, number 7 then is coaching. Coaching, and that basically is where you help them with clarity, direction, and accountability. So with coaching, this is where you ask the powerful questions. And you're asking questions to help them get clarity. You're helping them to find their own direction. And also there's accountability, right? So what are you going to do? When are you going to do it? So when you coach them, especially when the key things you provide with coaching is you help them get clarity. Because sometimes people, even very smart people, and this is why coaching is really great, right? Is even very smart people can, they can get clouded. They've got so many thoughts going on in their heads at the same time. And when you get together with them and just ask them very good questions, it helps them to get clarity, help them to find their direction, but also with the what are you going to do? When are you going to do it? What are you going to do to make sure it happens? This is where there's accountability, because they now have to do stuff, and especially if it's a coaching program where they're going to be meeting with you regularly, they will need to make sure they do that because they know that they're going to have to give account later, and that's why coaching is absolutely brilliant. Number 8 is therapy. I'm not going to say a lot about therapy. Therapy is another way that you can deliver transformation. So therapy, counseling, usually, again, I guess with everything you've got to be trained, but I know that with therapy that's slightly different because you've got to be a trained professional to actually do that. So if there's anybody who does that kind of thing, cool. But for most of us, that really is not going to count anyway, so that's fine, right? And then number 9 is breaks, relaxations, retreats, and just taking a break. And it's really amazing how these sort of things are really great. Because sometimes taking a break, treats and retreats and relaxation, and they're really brilliant. And they help bring bonding. They help people get clarity, and there's so much that happens, and they're actually very valuable. Right, and these are other things that you can put into the mix to help bring transformation. And then number 10, which is one of my personal favorites, is strategy. And planning / strategy. So, you have the VIP strategy days where you get together with someone and help them map out a specific strategy. So those are the 10 different approaches that you can take towards helping people experience transformation. There might be more, but those are the 10 that I have identified. And I use some of these, some of them I don't use, right? I do use quite a number of them. Now, a key thing, and this is really important. Now, so these are just these are the things that are in the mix, but you now need to choose what to include in your own program, right? Because you're not going to do everything, right? I hope not, okay? You're not going to do everything. The question then is, what should I do? Should I do done for you? Should I do consulting? Should I do training? Should I coach? What should I do? What should I put in the mix here? Now, there's 3 factors. Actually, there's 4 factors that you really want to take into consideration when determining what you should put into the mix. There's 4 factors. Number 1 is your strengths. And this is a big one. Your strengths is really a big, big, big one. Why? Because if you don't play to your strengths, you're going to get burnt out. And as your business starts to succeed and as you start to enroll clients, you will hurt yourself because you're doing things that don't really play to your strengths. I'll use me as an example. When I started out, profit from coaching. One of the things that I offered as a service was done for you services, helping clients build their own funnels. And when I was pricing it quite low, relatively, it was just £3,000. So I was helping clients build their funnels for £3,000, and I got clients. Getting clients was not the problem. And for those of you who are thinking, how am I going to get the clients? I'm going to share with you, something that we're going to be doing in June, and it is, you're going to absolutely love this. Where we're going to be working with you through that process of how do you sell. So getting the clients was not the problem. The challenge was I got a few clients, and then doing the work, I just found it terrible. Now, I knew how to do this stuff, but I hated doing it. I found it stressful. So, and I landed a few clients very, very quickly, because I've kind of mastered the ability to generate clients over the years, right? So I landed these few clients, and I got a few clients, and then I got into doing the work. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I was very, very stressed. And after a while, I just felt, what, even if you paid me £10,000, I'm not going to do this anymore. Right? And so I just felt, I'm not doing this anymore. And I stopped doing it. Why? Because done for you services for me, and I'm saying for me, not for my company, things that, but for me personally, it just doesn't play to my strengths. It doesn't play to my strengths at all. Okay. So now for some people would rather, coaching people to do it is so stressful for me. It's a lot of hard work. It's easy for me to just get on there and just build it for them myself. I find it less stressful. Then that's great. Go for done for you services because it aligns with your strengths. Now you may say, oh, but they need to learn it for themselves. Well, honestly, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. The key thing is, does it play to your strengths? I know that done for you doesn't play to my strengths. Now, done with you is what I then resorted to do. And that's when we developed the Profit Pulling Pipeline Bootcamp. And that's actually how I developed the bootcamp, where I got together with 6 coaches in a room and we built a funnel together over 3 days. So rather than building funnels for people individually, and this at the time was £1,000. So I was charging £3,000 to do it for one person and getting stressed. And I thought, what? Get 6 people in the room, do it over 3 days, have fun, be there in the moment, work with them to get it done. So I make $6,000 working. And at the time, the prices are slightly different now, but at the time we did it that way. And I made $6,000, and it was less stressful, a lot less stressful than getting 2 clients for $3,000, right, each, and then trying to spend the month building the funnel for them and just getting really stressed and really overwhelmed and really exhausted. Now, for some people, it's the other way around. The thought of being in a room with 6 people who don't know what they're doing and asking a gazillion questions, you'll think, oh, that's just too many questions for me. I can't handle that. I'd rather just do it myself. then done for you. Can you get the whole idea here? I'm just using this to communicate so you can get it. Is you need to look at what plays to your strengths. Okay. So, do you work well under pressure? Are you good at thinking on the spot? Some people are reflectors. You're very good when you go back and reflect and come back. If that's the case, right, then you want to factor that into the programs you develop. Live interactions or doing things on your own. So these are some of the things you need to know yourself. You've got to know yourself, right? So a thing with, you've got to know yourself and then identify which one of these approaches plays to your strengths. The second thing you want to look at is your current lifestyle. And this is really, really important for efficiency and effectiveness, and also to manage your energies and to make sure you have a life. Let me share, and this is really important because I know most of us here are building our businesses part-time. And I'll just share my story. I remember this was probably around 2009. Yeah, it was around 2009, 2008, 2009. Can't be precise right now. And I was working a full-time job in management and leadership development at the time. And I just felt, you know what, I'm going to have a go at coaching, at coaching. And so I got a few clients, right? I think I got about 3 or 4 clients. It was 4 clients. I got 4 clients. And the plan was, each one of them, so one day a week, we get together in the evening, I think Monday to Thursday, and I would coach them for an hour. And I think I charged each of them £500. I mean, I was working a full-time job. I was just doing it, and my job paid really well, right? I was just doing it, just because I loved coaching, right? And we did it it was a 1-month coaching program, 4 weeks, and I was coaching each of them in the evenings. And so I come back from work, and I remember that I actually hated the commute, hopping on the tubes, on the train, on the buses, traveling to work. I get back from work, I'm exhausted. And then I remember that in 45 minutes, I have a coaching session. And as soon as I remember, I just had that terrible sinking feeling that, oh my goodness, I've got to, and I would jump on, I'll put my game face on, and I'd run the coaching session, but I absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. And then I did it, and at the end of the program, I fell ill, and I was off work for 2 weeks because I literally, it was just too much. It was just too much. Now, if I was going to do things differently, what would I do, right? So considering, now, so if I was talking to me, this is me with the experience I have and the wisdom I have that I didn't have then. If I was talking to me back then, what would I have advised me to do? I probably would have advised me to do 2 sessions a month rather than 4 sessions a month. And I would have advised me to have 2 6-day work weeks. So basically what I mean by that is the second week of the month, work on a Saturday, and the 4th week of the month, work on a Saturday, and just allocate 6 hours to coaching, including resting, and then just, second Saturday of the month, coach each of them 45 minutes, not 1 hour, 45 minutes, so you'll have a few breaks. And then 2 weeks later, coach all 4 of them again. So, and for the same amount, £500. That's what I would have done, right? Why would I have done? So that way I know that my evenings I could rest, and I know that, okay, I'm sacrificing 2 Saturdays for an extra $2,000. And that's what I would have told the old me back then. So you've got to consider your current lifestyle when structuring your program. It's really, really important. I know a lot of us just want to, because I know I'm like that. We just have drive. I'm just going to do it, but you've got to be really realistic. Because as it starts to grow, as it starts to become successful and you need to deliver, that's when you begin to realize that, okay, maybe I'm being ridiculous here, okay? Then another thing you want to consider is your intended lifestyle. Now that actually is, the funny thing is a lot of people kind of attach more importance to their intended lifestyle than they do their current lifestyle. So I hear people say, you know what, I don't want to be talking to people, and so I'm not going to do that now. Well, what you do now and what you do then are 2 different things. You see, your program will evolve there, and this is really important. this is really, really important, you know. So I really need to explain this to us so we really get it right. Now, you see, your intended lifestyle, where you're going, a lot of people say, well, that's what I want to be doing in the future, and I'm going to start doing that now. Well, it's okay if it can fit into your lifestyle now, and if it can really help your business grow, right? So it's good to consider your intended lifestyle. I'm not saying you don't. It's not as important as your current lifestyle. Why? Because your program can evolve. I mean, my program, my programs have evolved considerably over the years. You know, so what my programs look like now are nothing like what they looked like a year ago. And I know that what they're going to be looking like a year from now is going to be very different to what they look like now, right? But now is now is the moment you are. And you've got to consider your energy, you've got to consider your life, you've got to consider effectiveness and efficiency in designing your program. And then finally, your market. You've got to consider them, you've got to consider what works for them. If the people who you're working with, for example, you've got to consider it and make sure that it's suitable for them and it will help them get the results they want. So these are the factors that you consider when you're looking at designing your program. So you've got to consider your strengths, you've got to consider your current lifestyle, you've got to consider your intended lifestyle, you've also got to consider your market and what they're used to, what will work for them, they would relate with, and things like that. Okay, good. Now, let's look at how we package things. Folks, again, I'm just checking. Are we still here? Is it still making sense? Are we still getting great value? Just checking. Just want to know. Just let me know in the comment section. Somi, thanks. For your comments. I really do appreciate. Nice one. All right. So now your program, and this is crucial, could be just one. So for example, you could have a program which is just one of these things. And for example, you can just do a coaching program, for example. So all you could offer is maybe a 13-week coaching program, right? And that's all you offer. And that could be, what your transformation program is. Or it could be just a done for you service, which is, okay, I help people manage their product launches. If you want to launch a product, I help you launch your product. I help you manage that process, and you pay me $5,000, for example, right? And so you bring that to the table as the one thing that you do, right? But usually it will be a combination of more than one of the 10. So let's just look at a few examples. I've written a couple of examples here. So this is an example of maybe a program, a high-ticket program, that a fitness coach could put together and sell for anything from $1,000 to £10,000. So it could start with a half-day fitness regime planning session where you get together with the individual, you check out where they are, you check out what their body fat is, you check out all of that stuff. I don't know what else you do. You probably do a few of those things to check what their fitness levels are at the moment, and then we design, and based on their lifestyle, right? So you ask them a lot of questions around what their lifestyle is. You then design their own specific, and then their goals, design a fitness program that they're going to work over the next 90 days, right? So that's part one, right? And so that is what you call a strategy session. That's a strategy session, okay? Now, on top of that, you now give them access to your online training program. So it's like an online course. So it's an online training program which has two elements. There's a gym fitness program and a nutrition program. Okay, so there's a gym fitness program, a 90-day gym fitness program, but there's also a nutrition program that you have designed for them. Okay, and you've put that in the mix as well. So there's some DIY there because they're going to go to the gym by themselves, and you've given them the program. You're not there with them, right? And they're going to work that over 90 days. But also, there's 6 coaching consulting sessions in there. So over the 90 days, you get together with them every 2 weeks to just check how they're going. There's things that they do submit to you regularly, so there's accountability, and you just check to see how they're getting on. You see the progress, and then you give them some advice, some feedback, so there's some consulting thrown in there, as well as some coaching, and you work with them over a 90-day period, and they begin to see that transformation happen in their bodies. So they spend $3,000 to be on your program. They look in the mirror. They love what they see. So that is an example of, you can see here how we've combined strategy, we've combined online course, we've combined some done-for-you stuff because you designed the nutrition program for them. We've also combined some coaching and consulting into the mix there. So that's just one example there. And another example, again, let's use the example of the person who's looking to accelerate their career, moving from, supervisory level to middle management. Okay, so we start with a one-day strategy session where we get together and we just map out an 18-month game plan that they're going to execute towards their career objectives. So we get together with them and there's an 18-month game plan. In addition to that, there's a few training programs that you're running. So there's 4 days of training built in. Maybe one is interviewing skills training. One training is packaging, I don't know, asserting yourself and personal impact training. Another module could be a CV writing workshop where they get together in a group and you, again, a done with you service where you work with them in a group and each person is designing their own CV, for example. And something else that you could put in the mix. And in addition to that, there's 6 coaching sessions spread over 90 days as well, for example. And this could be maybe a 3K or 5K program that you have packaged and put together. So there's 4 training days built in where they're going to be with other people. There's 1 day where you get together with them and map out an 18-month strategic career development plan, and there's also 6 coaching sessions built into that, 3K, 4K, whatever, you price it that way. And the whole idea is you're going to work with them on over 90 days, and by the time they're through, they're on the way, and they can then just follow through with the changes that have happened, the new person that they are, and start working towards achieving that goal that they're looking to achieve in 18 months. And so that's just another example of a program that you can design. The key thing is you look at the outcomes that they desire, you look at what they need, the personal development, the support that they need, the accountability, the disciplines that they need, and we build that into the program. Again, just looking at these different approaches, pick the ones that would be most suitable, that would work best for you and help them get the best results, and just put them in the mix that way. Okay, let me just quickly check if you have any questions. Does this make sense? Can we see how this actually works? And can you see yourself implementing this? So go ahead and just let me know if you can see how this works, if you can see yourself implementing this. Just wanted to know before I move forward to the next bit, which is also very important. Great stuff, and this is where I go quiet. Chamaka, I agree that personalizing a program is very essential. Awesome, awesome. Thanks for showing up, by the way. You're brilliant. And I absolutely enjoyed our interview. If you haven't seen it, folks, Chamaka interviewed me recently, and you can check it. IamAfripreneur.com and go ahead and have a look at that. And it was a good interview. I think I really shared a bit about my story there, and I'm sure it would really be beneficial for all of us. Awesome. Okay, great stuff. Now, the next bit is really, really important. So you definitely want to pay attention, because this is where we're going to start looking at doing some math, right? Now, determine the number of clients that you can work with at any one time, because your goal is to be fully booked. And this is really, really important, because people ask questions around pricing. I'm going to give you some advice right now. I'm going to show you a very simple way to price your programs, right? A very simple way to price your programs, okay? Good. So, question is, considering your current lifestyle, right? So if you're working a full-time job, you've got to be realistic. How many people can you work with at any one time? So if you're doing a done-for-you service, and maybe you're helping people launch their own products, or you're helping people build their own websites, or how many can you work with at any one time? So maybe the maximum is 2 or 3, maybe it's even 1 if you're working a full-time job, being realistic. Or maybe if you're doing some coaching or whatever, how many clients can you really handle at any one time? Write down that number, right? So write down that number, whatever that number is, okay? Good. Now, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 5. It's up to you, right? But just be realistic. Don't just go put something silly down that actually, if you did have that number today, it would crush you because you just can't handle it, right? So be very, very practical here. So whatever that number is, can you just go ahead, whatever? Some of you may not have an idea because you haven't designed your program yet, but if you think you might have an idea, feel free to share it in the comments section below. Right, just go ahead and share it. Now, and I'll continue, okay? Now, so you determine what the number is. So let's say hypothetically it is, let's say it's 5, okay? It's 5, okay. And maybe your goal is, well, while I work a full-time job, and this is just something I'm building part-time, my objective is to make, if I'm fully booked, I want to be making 5K, £5,000 a month, okay? So if I'm fully booked, I want to be making 5K. That's your objective, okay? So I'm going to show you right now how to do the math. I want to be making 5K. Now, question is, how long would you be working with this particular client, okay? So 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Hey, Sean, thanks for responding. So let's say, for want of a number, let's say 3 months, okay? So we're going to say 3 months, right? Okay, good. So I've written down 3 months. So if you take on a client in your program, you're going to work with them for 3 months, hypothetically, right? Now, your goal is 5K if you're fully booked. And the maximum number of people you can work with while in a full-time job is 5 people. All right, good. So therefore, that means that for you to make 5K if you're fully booked working with 5 people, just divide 5K, which is the amount of money you want to make, by the number of people, which is your maximum, and that's 5 people. And that 5 goes in 5, and that is 1K. So that basically means you want to generate £1,000 a month from all 5 of them. So if you're working with them for 3 months, how much would you be looking to make? How much should you be charging? So if you're looking to make 1K a month from every client to be able to achieve your financial goal, right? And you're working with them for 3 months, how much should you be charging each client? This is a bit of a, well, it's a math question. So I'm not going to say it's a trick question. There's no trick there. It's just math, all right? So how much would you charge each client? Someone do it for me, all the math gurus in the house. I am no math guru, so if I can work this out, you math gurus better work this one out quickly, okay? Right, so how much would you charge each client to achieve that goal? I'm hoping to see it come up soon before I say it, or I'm going to just do a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 3K per client, right? 3K per client. If it's 3K per client, that's 15K over 3 months, and that's 5K for each month. So you would be charging £3,000 per client if your goal is to make 5K a month, and if you have 5 clients, you're fully booked, and a client's going to be with you for 3 months, then you want each client to pay 3K. Right? So that's pretty much how we calculate it, because a lot of people get caught up in, oh, how much do I charge? How much do I charge? How much do I charge? That's the very simple way to do it. And then you kind of build it up from there. I guess there might be a delay between when your comments show it, Sammy, and when I see them. When you type them and when I see them, that must be what's happening. Okay, so there we go, folks. And that's pretty much how we do that. Now, I did say that I was going to share something with you. That's how you design your programs. And I really want to encourage you to go out there and just go and do this. Now, you might want to come back and watch this back again. If you've just shown up now and you've missed the beginning, go back and watch the replay with a pen and a notepad, because this is very practical. You don't get it? Okay, let me explain it again, right? Now, your goal is 5K a month, hypothetically. It could be less, it could be more, but we're working with 5K, right? So your goal is 5K a month, okay? And the maximum number of people you can work with at any one time is 5, right? Right, is 5. The maximum number of people you can work with at any one time is 5, right? And your program is a 3-month program, which means if you get me on today, you will work with me for 3 months, right? And if you're working with me and 5 other people, you will need to get 1K from all 5 of us to make 5K. But you will also need to get 1K from me again next month and 1K again from me next month. So in total, you would charge me 3K for that whole package. Does that make sense now? So you charge me 3K for that whole package in order to achieve your financial goals. So that's pretty much how it is. So it's 1K a month if you put it that way, but it's 3K for the whole package, right? And because I don't encourage you price your things around this amount, this much. Price it as a package. It's a whole package. What you're selling is not your time. You're selling the program, and I'm going to repeat that. You're not selling your time. So, I'm charging you for 6 sessions. You're not charging for sessions. You're not charging for training. You're not charging for consulting. You're not charging for your time. You're not charging for your expertise. You're charging for the results you're helping them get. Can I say? And I really need to drive this home, folks, because people say, well, I'm doing 6. The truth is, if you can help them get those sessions, if you can help them get the results in 5 minutes that they desire, you can charge them £10,000 for 5 minutes. It's not the time. It's not yes, it will be 1K a month, but like I'm saying, don't use the per month. It's 3K for the program, right? Now, you may choose to have a payment plan, but never price your programs on timings. So don't say, well, I'm paying you, you're doing 12 sessions, this much per session. Don't charge per session. Don't charge per time. Charge per outcome, right? And then show them how we're going to get it. So I'm charging you £5,000 to help you develop the skills and develop the website that's going to help you get this result. It's going to help you get this outcome. So it's the outcome you sell. You don't sell the process. Awesome. Brilliant stuff. Yes. So finally, last thing, and this is crucial, this is important, this is one you definitely want to pay attention to. Next month, the month of June, is a big one, and I'm doing a big challenge, and my goal is to work with a bunch of coaches, and it's gonna be free. Right, it's going to be free, but I really need your commitment, and I'm going to be running a challenge. I'm going to be creating a group for serious coaches, and this is primarily coaches and consultants, really, coaches and consultants. If you're a trainer, you can come in as well. Coaches, speakers, trainers, consultants, coaches, speakers, trainers, actually coaches, consultants, trainers, primarily, right? Who deliver transformation. Coaches, consultants, trainers, primarily, who deliver transformation through these methods. I'm going to be running a challenge in the month of June, and it's going to be in a specific group. It's going to be a different group which we're creating, and we're going to be launching the group on the 1st. Actually, we're going to be launching the group. We're going to be creating the group. The group is going live tomorrow, but we're going to be the work is going to be starting on the 1st of June. Right, and the focus really is we're just going to be having a blast. I'm going to share with you in the group. I'm going to teach you. We're going to do a whole day's training, and it's different groups of people, whether people who are just starting out, people who don't have a following yet, those of you who have a following but you're not able to get clients, those of you who've been able to get clients but you're not getting clients regularly. There's going to be training in there for all of you, and basically going to be in that group. And it's a group where there's going to be accountability. There's going to be peer accountability. There's going to be the training in there to guide you. And I'm going to be showing up every now and again. I'm going to be putting a lot of training in there to really. And the goal is this: you are going to work towards generating clients in the month of June. And this is open to everybody. So spread the word about this. If you want to be a part of this, if you want to know so I can share the link with you, just comment in the section below. Comment below or like this. Just, do something so that when I share it here, you would receive a notification. So make sure you do that. Like it, say so in the comment section, whatever, just so that you receive a notification when this definitely does happen. It's going to be really big, and I'm still thinking about how we're going to, I'm doing a lot of work. There's a lot of work that's going into this. We're probably going to be having in my head, I'm thinking about maybe 200 people are going to be going through this challenge. It is free, but you need to be committed. So don't just join and drop out halfway through. If you think you're going to be too busy to do this, don't join. But if you know that you need this and you want me to help you to really start generating those, whether it's middle ticket sales, high ticket, just come in and we're going to have an absolute blast. Okay? Awesome. Awesome. Fab. Hey, how are you doing, folks? Good to have you here. Thank you, everybody. I am so glad that you've shown up, and I hope you got great value out of this. If you're not yet a member of the Profit from Coaching Academy group, please go and just type in Profit from Coaching Academy, join the group. If you haven't liked this page, the Profit from Coaching page, like the page now. If you want to talk to me personally, if you're thinking, DJ, I'd love for you to mentor, I'd love for you to guide me, I'd love for you to help me, I want to pick your brain and ask you questions, send me a message. You can send us a group on the Profit from Coaching page. You can send me a private message. I tend to be very visible. I love to talk to people. It's just kind of person that I am. I'm not so distant. People think, oh, how do I get a chance to talk to this guy? I'm really easy to reach, right? So reach out to me and let's have a chat and let's help you build a business that changes lives and gets you paid. Folks, I hope this has been useful. But again, like I always say, it's not what you know that counts. It's what you do with what you know. So let's take this, let's run with it, let's make it work, and let's change lives, and let's make money. God bless you, and see you. I was going to say see you next week. Yes, see you next week, but also see you in the group. So please go into the group, go talk about this, let people know how useful it's been for you. And if they, and again, people don't need to register for this, just show up. And even I'm going to say to you, go back and watch this again and implement this and see how things are going to change for you. And you have value, and people will invest in your high-ticket programs. I'm telling you right now, people will invest in it. You've got to believe that, because if you don't believe, you won't take action. All right. God bless everybody. Keep being awesome, and see you soon. Bye for now.